All right, ladies and gentlemen, Fabs in the house, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have these three beasts on the table. I got the trifecta, the holy Nikkor Z trifecta for the telephoto at least, because I got 70 to 200, 2.8. These are all S-line. S-series lenses. This is the 400 4.5 and this is the 600 6.3, one next to each other. And I just want to do a quick video, just a quick comparison, what you find on the lens, just the size, just a little bit of information to maybe help you to pick which one you would need, or which one it's gonna be the perfect tool in your toolbox. This is, of course, the more versatile, I would say, because 70 to 200, it is the only zoom. These are two prime lenses. Here you have the zoom ring, you have the focusing ring, and that is this is going to be the ring that you can customize. It's the only one that shows like the display function on the barrel. These two guys, they do not have anything. The 600 is the only one showing a plate, like in the old style, which I love. I really like the, the 3D-ness of this metal plate. Apply to that. These two fellas, 400 and 600, of course, they are really, really similar in the layout of the buttons. This is going to be a little bit different. Beside the weight, the size, and I'm going to try to do my best to align them up, is what is just striking. Let's do like 600, 400. These are perfectly lined up. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of distortion from the camera, but you get the idea. I mean, 200, it's just like this much shorter than the 400, which is insane with the hood. And the 600 is even more insane, considering that it's going to be like just this much longer than the 400 with the hood. Let's say you want to see without the hood and just check how ridiculously small this 600 is. It's just like smaller than the 400 with the hood. Take off the hood from the 400 and you realize that already the 400 is ridiculously small. I'm just going to line them up like here. Look at that. And then this fella, look at this. It's crazy. These are very compact lenses, especially the 400, and I mean the 70 to 200 is pretty much standard, but look at this. The 400 is barely, and there's like a filter on it, of course, but just like maybe 1-2 centimeters longer than this is nuts. And the 600, I mean, maybe like 3-4 centimeters. But the point is that these two guys are incredibly compact, like really, really small. It's remarkable how compact this is. It's stunning. So also you can see that this is the only one made in Thailand, and it's focusing from a shorter distance of half a meter, 0.5 meters. These other two are made in China, and this one is going to have a 2.5 meter shorter focusing distance, whereas this one, you are going to feel it for sure at 4 meters. So be very mindful of that. 4 meters is going to be your bare minimum, and it's if it can sometimes you can just be too close if you're doing really, if you're happen to be too close, it might be not only too close for the framing but only for the minimum focusing distance. 4 meters, keep that in mind. This is much more versatile at 2.5, and this one, of course, at half of a meter is just incredible, with a very controlled focus breathing as well. If you shoot video, that's fantastic. These two are just great, and the layout configuration of these two is pretty much identical. You get the buttons on the top with the function number 2 right over here, right below the Nikkor S logo. On the side, you get the same configuration with the lens customizable function button, automatic autofocus and manual focus switch, and full focusing, or just up to the 10 meters or 6 meters as a focusing limitation. On the other side, you get the memory set button, of course, like to memorize and save and set the memory for a certain focusing distance, and then to be able to recall it pretty quickly. So this is the layout for these two prime lenses, which is a little bit different than the 7200 and the zoom, because the FN button has been moved from close to the barrel right over here to right below the display button, which is of course is lacking on the 400 because there's no display, so there's no button, there's no need for that button. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And this guy has a limitation of 5 meters, and this is going to be 6 meters. So pretty much very similar. There is no memory set on the 7200, just remember that. And this is going to be, you know, pretty easy, straightforward to decide. Here you have some flexibility. Here you are going to be a little bit more limited than this one, because you're going to be always tight. You will never be able to zoom out. But for example, you won't be needing this one if you only have that, because you're going to have this. So this thing would be helpful with this thing, because it would be getting you closer to this thing. And of course, this thing here over here is, even tighter. There's even less chances to zoom out with this. So that's going to be the major drawback, but that's going to be actually the primary reason why you would want a 600, because you need to get closer, you need to get tighter because you're too far. So that is the reason why you want to get this, because you cannot get physically close to the subject. And therefore you need to just close the angle of view and get closer optically, because your feet cannot get to the subject. Otherwise you can have this, or you can have that, or you can have either something towards that side, even wider, because you're going to be able to get closer to your subject. So it's all about a matter of how close can you get to the stuff that you want to take a photograph of, because sometimes I really feel that the 600 is too short, and I would love to have at least an 800. Sometimes there are like wide spaces with an eagle that is, I don't know, 100 meters away. What are you gonna do with this? Like, you know, you want to do something tighter, you're gonna always be short, because this stuff is gonna be far. This is much more manageable and more usable. I get more used to with this than with that, for example. But this is more like a specialty lens. This is more versatile. This is incredibly versatile. I mean, if you don't have this, I would just skip this or that, because this one and this one will be giving you much more possibilities, much more opportunities than either of one of these two. And remember, with this one, if you have like a modern camera, maybe you can also use the crop factor and just cram and crop in camera as you shoot, so you save space and you get a little bit closer to the subject if you cannot get enough close enough, and if you cannot afford, or you don't want to buy one of these two. So there's always an option, and this one is my recommendation. I would say just get a 7200. It's a staple in any photographer's bag. 7200 is spectacular. It's extremely versatile. Absolutely. And with a teleconverter, like for example 1.4, I'm set. I'm really set when I need a little bit more reach. But there are some drawbacks. Why I still have this? Why I have a 400 that's a prime lens? Well, because first of all, sometimes you need 400 and you have a 4.5 aperture, which you can actually use with this. So again, you're gonna go between these two guys. So because this with this is gonna get you more in the territory of that. So in my case, to have both options, it's perfect because this is on another level. This is a 400 prime lens. So it's the rendition of the pictures with this compared to the combo of the teleconverter and the 7200 is much more preferred. There is, for example, one major issue when you use one of these. You introduce a point of breakage, an extra point of breakage, because you're gonna attach this in between the camera. So there's gonna be more points of contact that can break if you take a hit. So that's a major concern when you use the converter on the move. If you're set on a tripod and just stationary, it's fine. But that just matters. And of course, you're gonna get the degradation of the image due to the use of the teleconverter. So you have to think about that. And you're gonna have, of course, the darkening of the lens due to the use of the teleconverter. So you still have to factor those things in before wanting to justify a purchase like that, because this is very expensive, this is expensive, and this is quite expensive. I mean, this is crazy expensive, this is extremely expensive, and this is absurdly expensive, depending on how you look things. This can be extra cheap. It depends on the usage that you do with your gear. If you make money with your gear, it's fine. If this is like $2,000 and you can make money using and producing images with this tool, go ahead, buy that. It's perfect. It's a no-brainer. If you need something like this or something like that, and you have the money to invest because you need this to produce images that are going to make you money, just go for it. Otherwise, if you're still not to that point, I suggest maybe to stay to this side and maybe start with something like that, or even the F4. Then it's not available for Nikkor Z now, but for example, you don't have to get the 2.8. You can get an F4, so you start a little bit lower, but still you have the versatility, you have the tele, you have the reach. You still are able to shoot like an F4, which is, of course, not bad. Be mindful of the shutter speed, but still, you're going to be able to get into the telephoto game, and you're going to be even more compact than these three bad boys right over here. So when you need to step up to the 400 and the 600 is mainly when you cannot get closer to the subject. In this case, there's these two options, the phase Fresnel and for the 600 and the 400 are extremely compact. These are ideal travel companions because you can pack these. I mean, the 400 is kind of like 7200, guys. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And the 600 compared to the 7200, again, is not that much bigger. Look at this. So stunning engineering went into the making of these lenses, especially these two are absolutely mind-blowing for the quality, for the weight, the size. The size is ridiculous. I was literally shocked. And the weight, of course, they're really light, they're super balanced with the camera. They're a no-brainer for any person like shooting wildlife or sports, even if you do weddings. I mean, this one, it can't be missing in your camera bag. These two are going to be great addition if you're like a birder, if you want to do any kind of sports. These two guys are like spectacular, and you don't have to break the bank going to buy the versions, the 2.8 and the 4 version with the teleconverter integrated, built in, because those are gonna destroy your wallet and your back. And these are like fantastic, absolutely gorgeous images you can produce with these two, and of course with that guy right over there. I mean, 1, 2, 3. This is the trifecta of the Nikkor Z lenses for the telephoto. So there you have it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned.